Okay.
I don't vote, but I'm here.
But
Yes.
you're more present than I. Thank you for
Okay,
that.
we
So
do
we
have,
do have a
because
quorum,
Blanca's
so
been there.
let's
No.
call the,
We didn't have Ramirez.
Huh?
There's 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5. Ms. Ramirez,
Mr.
Blanca,
Pete.
and you 3. That's 5.
The charter school member counts as part of the quorum,
I'm already.
4, 5.
Yes, we're good.
Here we go. Yes, we're good. Let's call the meeting to order at 2:13. Let the record show that we do have a quorum. Mr. Elder was not present. I believe he's in bereavement. Mr. Limon is not present. We do have Ms. Ramirez, we have Mr. Sanchez, we have Ms. Topete, we have Ms. Becker and myself. Ms. Melodia Salaices is not with us either on the meeting, but we do have a quorum. So what we're going to do, if you will join me, we're going to have a moment of silence for the educators and family members who have lost their lives due to COVID-19, followed by an invocation by Mr. Sanchez, and then pledges of allegiance by Ms. Becker. Will you bow your heads with me in silence? Thank you, Mr. Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Zablaski. If you keep your heads bowed with me, please. Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day you've given us. Thank you for all the gifts and all our health that we're experiencing right now. Watch over our staff and their families and the young children out there that are still doing their online at home. I know they're frustrated and everything, but I think with your help, Lord, with your guidance, they can keep on doing their schooling at home. Watch over especially the Head Start children and their parents. Keep them safe, keep them healthy, and all of us the same way, Lord. Thank you for everything that you give us. In God we pray, amen.
Amen. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you both for leading us. I'd like to read a statement just for the record. Before I do so, I'd like to welcome those of you on staff that are here and present, and certainly those that are online attending our meeting, and anyone else that may be on YouTube watching our meeting as well. But the board received a packet of information last week related to topics on today's agenda. Each board member has had an opportunity to review the information prior to the meeting. And it is the policy of the board that if members of the audience wish to address the board, they must sign the form at the entrance. Commentaries and/or questions are limited to the public forum sections of the said agenda as is provided for in board policy. I'd like to note the time for Mr. Limon is now on with us as well.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And do we have anyone sign up for open forum?
No, sir.
There being none, we'll go over the consent agenda, and there's a couple of items. We just require one motion, and we will go through a roll call vote just to make sure that everyone gets to be registered in terms of their vote. Do I hear a motion for the consent agenda?
Joe Limon, move to approve.
We have a motion by Joe Limon. Do I hear a second?
Second, Blanca Topete.
Second by Blanca Topete. Any discussion? There being none, I'm going to poll the board. Fred Sanchez, how do you vote?
Hey,
Patricia Ramirez, how do you vote?
A. Did you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Blanca Pete, how do you vote?
Aye.
Joe Limon, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. The motion carries unanimously. And we have the information items on our agenda from the purchasing cooperative. We continue to expand our number of cities, and we've got Valencia College from Orlando, Florida is on here in our interlocal agreement. We our program for our purchasing cooperative for all fine work. We appreciate that. Any questions, comments regarding that item? There being none, we'll move on to the executive director's report. And we're going to jump to the.
Yes, sir. We can. Thank you, Mr. Blasky. So part of the report I have today includes an opportunity for us to discuss the naming of our convention center and parking garage. And so what we wanted to do was kind of get some ideas out there, and also our creative juices flowing to see if we could come up with a name. The board won't take action today, but definitely would love to hear the great ideas, and then maybe from there, Mr. Sablaski can give us the directions as to where we go from there. But for now, I'm going to ask Angie Otto and her team to start the conversation.
Thank you.
Jose, can you? Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sobolewski, Dr. Aguirre, members of the board. On the screens, you see our first marketing materials. We're actually starting, this is the right time for naming and for engaging in this process so that we can come to a decision soon as to what the name of the conference center is going to be, so that we can include it as we start having meetings with our potential clientele, particularly from the private sector. We've actually already been engaging in this process. Actually, this morning I had a meeting with the Elegant Penguin to see what their interest was. And these marketing materials, Sandra and the media services team, along with some renderings that John provided for us, is what you have on the screen. Can you scroll down, Jose? So we're also, these are renderings giving them an example of what the event rooms are going to look like. Scroll down. They're very excited about the beautiful views that the building is going to have. So we've been able to showcase that through those pictures. Go ahead and go down. They really particularly liked the forum, that you can really have those nice big windows overseeing some of those fantastic views. And then, of course, our cafe there at the bottom, providing catering. And we're also having meetings regarding the furniture, so everything is moving forward. And we're just giving them right now, you know, a little taste of what our conference center is going to have, to include, of course, the garage being an ideal location. You know, people are excited about the location, certainly, and the development that is going on around this area. And the IT and the AV that is going to be provided for their events is certainly going to be state of the art. And making sure that we're equipped to house these large events, along with catering, and really providing a scalable size where the rooms can be, you know, as big as they want for the capacity, or smaller too. And we're incorporating also both face-to-face and being able to live stream, which has become very popular these days. So the team is equipped to be able to handle all of that. So we're talking to our clients to already start the process of initiating booking, since we are looking at a potential opening date there of August 2021. Scroll down, Jose. So with that being said, what we did is we engaged in a process of through constant contact, we sent out an email to the staff so that they can also have an opportunity to voice what their thoughts were in regards to naming the conference center. So we took that into consideration. We had the call for suggestions in constant contact for a few weeks. And in submitting the names that you will see on the screen shortly, there were some names, of course, that the staff submitted that looked very similar. So we kind of condensed, we cleaned up, we compiled into some of the most notable names that were suggested. So that is what you see right there on the screen. And what we would like to do is, with those names on the screen, you also, of course, please take a few minutes to look and to read and look through. And we have an electronic survey available so that you may put in there your top 3 selections so that we can start consolidating this process a little bit further. Also, if you have another name that you'd like to suggest, there is a name, a section at the bottom where you're able to put that in there.
Please.
Number 26 there, I don't know if it was from my suggestion or someone else, the one that says the stellar. But it's already there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's kind of what I was thinking of with our.
Can you zoom in on that?
With our logo. I mean, it's very poorly done, but nonetheless, just so that, and obviously it could be the Stellar Conference Center or the Stellar Convention Center. It doesn't really matter. Just wanted to make sure that that we're marketing certainly the conference center. But beyond marketing the conference center, we're marketing ESC 19. And that's why our star, if you can't see it, it says ESC 19 on it. And I had it on the R over here as well, but it really is better on the A, the star replacing the A. And so anyway, that was just for everybody's consideration.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I'm not sure how long you'd like to take to visit the names and look through them.
Okay. If I could just quickly say, first of all, I'm flattered that my name was put in there. That's great, but I think the name of the actual conference center should be tied to our somehow our brand, our environment, and all that. So just want to say I'm flattered, but I at this point I would say let's take that one out, just so that we're not caught up on that one. But I didn't want to give you a chance to do that.
I'll name the center for you and maybe look at the race.
No. So no, I appreciate that though. That was very flattering. Thank you. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. Is it a conference center, an event center, or is it a convention center?
What?
Is it a conference, a convention, or
an event?
It's everyone's choice what they wish to call it. Again, we're trying to market it, and so which is more marketable is in each person's mind is what we want. So it could be, I'm using my example, the Stellar Conference, the Stellar Convention Center, or the event center. It could be any of those.
Or it could be both, conference and event center.
There you go. There you go.
I think it should be all three, really.
It, it could be center, you know? Just kidding.
The center.
Okay, thank you.
And
Mr.
so I don't know, any other questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I had heard about the stellar that you mentioned, and I like the idea, so I went and looked for the meaning of it, what it represented and what, how it would entail into the convention center for us, or whatever center, whatever we're going to call it. But it has a real good meaning as far as the stellar, but I also, my suggestion is starry, Starry.
Story.
And with the star of Region 19 at the beginning, and then starry, convention center, whatever, conference center. That was that's my suggestion now. And I looked up a meaning also, and it has to do with someone with a bright personality. And I'm thinking that if people want to come and do their convention here or their organization, you know, it's talking about them, that they have a bright personality and they're going to partake it here at the Region 19 Center. And but I'm glad that staff came up with so many other versions of names for it. But I would suggest, I'd like to suggest also that starry, the logo in front, and then starry.
Thank you.
Mr. Sanchez, could you spell that again?
He wants you to spell it.
Starry.
Starry. Okay.
One of the things that I noticed here is there is a common theme in regards to the name. I guess people are thinking the tine of the mountain, the star on the mountain, and just being the star of our logo. And so, you know, just going down the list, you know, I'm not highlighting one in particular. I'm just reading the ones I see that tie to this, you know, anything from Starlight, Star Mountain, Star Bright, and of course Stellar, Starry, the View. You know, that's another one that all tied to I guess even the Sun City. So those are very, I think, names that can somehow be tied to who we are and what we're trying to. But I like the idea of tying our logo and our branding. I think from a marketing standpoint, feel free to share your thoughts. I mean, it's part of the board meeting, we're also having a discussion, right? So if anyone wants to share something.
It's open in that respect.
Yes. So please, if you want to share some thoughts regarding what you foresee as the theme and how this could tie together, or any others for that matter. As an example, I mean, Sky Hub, I'm assuming it's tied to the airport. And of course, there's even Airway Convention. And so just hearing thoughts would be, I think, beneficial for everybody. So if anybody wants to share.
Just wanted to share very quickly about, you know, just in conversations so far, when we refer to the venue, we refer to it as conference center because we thought like convention center may be a little bit confusing with the convention center downtown. So just wanted to bring that up for your consideration.
That's a good point.
Jose is sharing in the chat with everybody else a link to the survey so they can make a selection. So there's the 27 names, and also there's a space for you to put in a suggested name. And then there's a second question that addresses that, whether you would like for it to be a convention, conference center, event center, or perhaps something different that you would like to share. And so as you all are sharing those, we can compile all those answers and sort of share those as well with the rest of the board. And again, any logo that you end up deciding on a name, we can create some sort of branding for it to incorporate the star. So whether it's Sun City or The View or Stellar, I think we can find a way to incorporate our colors and our theme into that name.
And from a marketing standpoint, I agree with Angie. I think we should stay away from putting anything that says convention on it.
I agree.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Any other suggestions or comments? We don't have to take an hour for this. It's just open for that particular opportunity for people to voice whatever suggestions they might have. We do need for it to be something that highlights the conference center. That's what we've called it from the get-go, really. And at the same time, our branding, our logo. I was talking earlier, Dr. Aguirre, using the example of a national brand like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola wouldn't put up a name up there and not include their logo, or the NFL, the National Football League, or anybody of that nature. One of the things that we always talk about is when we give presentations to have our logo on the PowerPoint at the bottom right, so everybody who gets to see it starts to recognize Education Service Center Region 19 or Region 19 ESC as the premier supplier of educational materials, training, etc. And so that's what we need to make sure that we consider. But if we can't fill it, it doesn't matter how beautiful the name is, right? So, but we definitely need to, again, that's why we decided this is not the day to make a final determination on the name, but give everybody some input, and we'll come back and have some more discussion on it. It's imperative that like Mr. Sanchez did a good presentation on why he recommends the Starry Conference Center or whatever it might be, because if we folks are putting down their names, but if they haven't given us what the thought was behind it, maybe we can't see it. I don't know. So it might be an opportunity.
Mr. President, I have an idea.
Who's this?
This is Blanca.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
So I was thinking, why don't we have, maybe we should send the list out to the employees over the holiday, and maybe put it like on a Survey Monkey and have them vote on their favorite names, and then the top 5, whomever recommendation it was, we can have them come and present on our next meeting and let us know why they chose that name. And then, but now we've scaled it down to like top 5 that the employees have selected, and then they come and present to us, and then from there we can make a decision on what we should call the conference center.
Thank you. Anyone else? I certainly agree with that recommendation that we have a top 3 here, but I guess it's going to spread out anyway.
Yeah, we can have more than 3.
Maybe we can do a top 5, and then and do exactly what bring folks in and have them do a little presentation on where did it go?
We'll put it back on the screen, please. I can't see it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Look on the link in the chat again.
Yes.
I would also, just as a thought, I would, if there are any names on here that we're not going to consider, then we could go ahead and just so we can for a reason. I mean,
Yes, of course.
I'll use my name again as an example. Let's go ahead and take that off the list, so that's one less in the mix. But if there's other things, and I'm looking at the list, I can't think of one offhand, But if there's one that in your opinion, and you can suggest as to why, but if there's a negative connotation to it, or whether it's already tied in your opinion to another organization, that you think, well, would that be smart? One that comes to mind just right off the top, and it's terrible to say it, but it's a fact, is you have the Southwest Texas, right? So what popped into my mind was the Chihuahua baseball field,
Southwest University.
Southwest. So I'm thinking where people are going, oh, they own that too? Or, oh, they're sponsoring that too?
Or
And
Star Mountain is the same thing.
Yeah.
That's who owns the Chihuahuas.
that's who owns this one. So those are the kind of things that I went, well, as much as it sounds cool, I would say, if we give it enough thought, we find ourselves saying that might not be one that we want to keep on the list for that simple reason. I mean, that was, I don't know about others, but that was one of the first things that went through my mind when I read that one. I went, why would we name it after? Oh, no, that's not them. That's a different. But the mere fact that we think it, it's already in the wrong. Our mind's in the wrong place.
We had talked about earlier about Crossroads.
Yeah.
Crossroads, there's a Crossroads in West El Paso. So we confuse people in coming, when they ask for directions from someone, they say, oh yeah, that's in West El Paso.
Right.
It's
Yeah, would be.
we actually understand what they mean by crossroads right here, but given that confusing element, perhaps
If you
that's
live on the
one.
west side, that's what you think about.
And then sadly enough, even Crossroads also, it's if I remember correctly, it's also tied to an organization that helps those who are struggling, various reasons, and so it's Crossroads of Life. And so we're trying to find a positive spin. So along those lines, that's another reason why. So are there others that you guys see? So I don't know if you guys agree, but I just say that there's a couple of these we could eliminate just so that we don't end up with votes on them and then we're having to discount it later.
This may sound a little weird, but when I read United Convention Center, all I could think about was United Airlines.
Yeah.
And, I know we're near the airport, but
And you have United Airway, United Way. There you go, not
United
Airway,
Way.
United Way.
Yeah.
So. And there's two Uniteds on there too, number 10, number 24.
oh yeah, I didn't see 10. That one really sounds like United Way.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I think a lot of what's moving us is wanting to be united, wanting to have unity and all that, and that's beautiful. But as time goes forward and this board's not even the same board anymore, it needs to still have that same impact, that brings folks to it because it has that. Obviously, the views and the breakout rooms and all of that is awesome and wonderful. But that's one of those things that we need to make sure that it's a long-term. I mean, our buildings and facilities are always maintained to an impeccable position and condition. And obviously, as people come in to see this structure, the rest of these buildings are also going to help to sell it because our facilities look immaculate as our staff maintains them. And so that's something that, of course, needs to continue to be in the forefront as well. But anything else in this respect? We can beat a dead horse, I guess.
Yes. I just wanted to kind of throw that out there so that if we could, and not that it's a vote, but just if any board members have any concerns, otherwise if we could remove some of those that we mentioned. Are you guys okay with that?
Of course, I mean, with certainly, we know that whomever suggested them with something in mind, but obviously with no offense to anyone, and it would be best to get down to a number that's probably a more viable one.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
if we have any other suggestions, who do we send them to?
You can send them to me, Angiaro, AHARO @ESC19.net.
You repeat that?
Yes, Angiaro, AHARO @ESC19.net.
Thank you.
And if you could always just text me as well, and I'll make sure she gets it, if that's easier for you all. If you'll text me with your name, and then I'll make sure and get it to her. And we won't send this out till, well, did you want to do it before the holidays? Is that what I understood? Or is it okay?
No, at our next meeting.
It's not till the next meeting?
Yeah, at our
No, but
next.
to send it out to, because you had
Oh,
mentioned.
yeah, send it out, but.
To the staff.
The suggestion from Mr. Pete was to send it out, and then staff could kind of mull it over the holidays, and then upon their return, we're gonna have it on our next agenda, so to give you opportunity to tabulate whatever is necessary to tabulate, and or, put together materials that anybody may submit, and then take it from there. For our next board meeting, we'd probably start again at 2:00, just so we can have time to
discuss
this process. Yeah.
Okay.
We have 15 till 3.
Okay.
Are there any other names you wish to remove? So far, I have 6.
Any others that you have?
So you're to be on the same page, you're removing number 4, number 6,
Number 10,
number 10,
18.
18,
We should 20.
20 and 24.
Yes.
And I would suggest number 3 because it goes with the United one, like Continental.
Oh,
It's also an airline.
that's true. And on that note, Boeing is I know it's a street, but I'm wondering just
Yeah.
about.
That Boeing isn't catchy. I think Sky Hub also refers more to the airport, and I don't know, we need to tie it to the airport. We need to tie it more to the mountain, the uniqueness of the view.
Okay.
I agree.
And I don't know where we get Midway.
That's Chicago.
I know.
That's Chicago.
It's Chicago. Who
Yeah,
said
I
that?
looked at that and I thought, okay.
Or isn't there by Riverside, isn't there a Midway
It's a
Street?
street.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so with the Crossroads idea, I
Yeah,
guess that
same
would,
thing.
same thing. Okay.
The ESCs, we were again discussing earlier, where I used to work, we used to go through a process in CPR. Right, so to most people, CPR is cardiopulmonary resuscitation. It was a comprehensive program review. And so when we start to put down initials, we know what they mean, but nobody else really does. And so a lot of the ESCs now, the 13 is more complete, it does say ESC Region 19, maybe all of those could add that, I don't know. I'm just suggesting that when we do think about those things that, we need to be more global in our name.
Number 17, then have to do
So you say,
with the airport.
okay,
Yeah, Mr. Limon mentioned that one, right? The
17.
Sky Hub also.
There's also Gateway Learning Center. Not so much Gateway, but Learning Center kind of takes it away from being a convention center.
right.
It kind of
Mhm.
puts it in a very small box.
it would almost have to be convention center, right? Gateway.
It would have to
I
be
mean, if we're
Gateway
gonna vote on
Convention or
it.
Gateway something else, but
Yes.
No convention.
Conference. Thank you.
conference would be more reasonable for that.
And Sun City's a beautiful name because that's what we've known El Paso for a long time. But again, it kind of probably ties it into the city of El Paso because that's a lot of what they've used, with the Amiibo Man and the sun and all that. It it really is, it's almost like, oh, the city owns that conference center.
Yeah. Especially if we leave it like that, Sun City Convention, that
Yeah.
pretty much
Yeah.
is downtown.
And the one that said, I thought I saw one that said Central.
Yeah, there's the
The
EP
EP
Central.
Central Convention Center. I don't know. Personally, I don't know that we're the center where we are. And when I worked for the city, that, you know, downtown was kind of the center, but I don't know. I mean, it's just for discussion purposes, not necessarily to take it out.
And the ESC Parkway, I'm not sure about that one. Makes it sound like a parking garage. I mean, which it is, but that's not what we're supposed to be.
That's not our focal point.
That's not the thing.
Anything else?
Well, keep going, we'll end up with 5. I'm kidding. No, I'm good. If anyone else has any suggestions or you're okay with the ones we talked about removing?
We've just discussed in terms of removal from the board. There being none, any additional suggestions so we can close this part of our agenda? Again, there being none, we'll move on then. Thank you, Ms. Otto, and all the staff for participating. It is a very critical issue for us and a big investment, obviously, and so need to keep it moving forward. So thank you very much. So we go back to our
Mr. Sablaski,
agenda. Yes, sir.
if I could just make sure that we have the directions for the
Yes, sir.
upcoming meeting. So we're gonna, don't forget to add Starry to the list, and then have the list shortened, if you will, and then sent out to the staff so that they can share. And then I guess we could give them a couple of days after we come back from the holidays to finalize the vote. And then we'll compile, and then we'll be ready for the next meeting. Does it sound about right?
Sounds great. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much. That was fun. And so our next, we got about 7 minutes before 3, and the auditor's gonna call us back at 3.
At 3.
So we have the museum and the
I'll give you mine here.
conference center parking garage.
I deleted
progress.
some.
I'm sorry.
So
I was, sorry, we're exactly.
we're at item 4, executive director's report.
Oh, okay.
We did the process to name the conference center, but we got a few minutes before 3 p.m. I thought we'd do maybe the nature.
Yes, we could.
Museum progress, or
I believe we could pull, and if we need to go longer, we can, but go ahead and start with Nature Museum, and then we could go from there. Thank you, John.
Yes. Mr. Sablaski, Dr. Ida, members of the board. I've got a quick update for you on the Nature Museum. We'll go ahead and. All right, so on the Nature Museum update, ACO construction continues to do earthwork, grading, and density testing. That's ongoing. We have not had a failure on any of our tests so far. If you were to go by the site, you'll see that everything's been cleared up, compacted really nicely. We're also in the process of putting the building pad footings. Most of those footings are already in place. We expect, or we hope, weather permitting, that we'll have some concrete poured this Saturday. ESC 19 and Royal Wilkie, we continue to work with David's Water District. We had to go back and change some design on the water input. We're also working with One Gas since we changed the water where it was coming in from. We want to go ahead and run the gas along that same line for efficiency. We're working with El Paso Electric to get that new design in process. That usually takes a couple of months, but we're moving forward. And we're in the review process of the final contract for exhibit concepts. A couple of photos that we have here of the site. You can see that the rebar's in place, the footings have already been dug out, and those are the areas where we'll be pouring this Saturday, hopefully. We can't pour concrete if it's less than 40 degrees. It has to be 40 degrees and rising. Here's another view. You see that they're ready to go. That's the pad where the containers are going to be placed, the double stacked containers. And then this view right here just kind of shows where we've already done some density testing for the parking lot. So you can see the different views that we have. And that's kind of where we're at with the Nature Museum. We continue to move forward, but I don't have a lot to show you in the form of pictures. Yes, sir.
Would you include in all of your updates for us the target completion dates for each of our projects, so that you kind of keep reminding us where we are as one? And then just a comment, I happened to drive by there yesterday. Man, the footprint looks a lot bigger than what I envisioned. It's awesome. It looks vast. And I mean, it's a buzz in the community.
Oh, great.
People are like, what's going on? And so it's a wonderful thing. And I drove by there just by chance, as I spoke to you earlier, by chance. But it's a very large footprint. And so, including, of course, the parking. But anyway, I thought I'd share that.
Yes, sir. And I will start to add the completion dates in there. We're going to have 2 separate completion dates on this particular project, because once the building's done, the interior building envelope, then we will have exhibit concepts come in and they'll deliver and install all of the exhibits.
Now, you mentioned that the cement can be poured because it's too cold. Does that mean it's backing up the construction at this point?
No, there's other things that ACO has been doing to keep everything moving. They're actually pre-trenching for the water, they're pre-trenching for the gas. We're working on the parking lot. So there's things to keep them busy so that we're moving.
Okay, great.
Any other questions on the Nature Museum?
Board, any questions? There being none, unless someone, only if you have a statement, those of you who are virtual. There being none, then we'll move on to the conference center.
Okay, I'll go through this quickly. So what we've got is, I brought my notes here because sometimes my eyes don't work as well. Cambro is working on sequence number 8. That is the last of the 3rd floor, and they are working on sequence number 9, which is going to be the ramp going up to the 4th floor. Again, we're holding, it's 500 square yards of concrete for sequence 8. It got delayed a couple of days because of the weather, but again, we're looking for that 40 degrees and rising. So they're going to shoot for this Sunday, Monday, to get that in. But nothing stops. We're working on sequence 9. The decking has already been in place. So if you're actually coming in from the EPISD side, you can already see that ramp going up. And it's making the turnaround, which is going to be sequence 10. And so even if they can't pour concrete, they're continuing to put the rebar in, the post tension, they're forming. So everything is still moving along. And that concrete will get poured eventually. The kitchen CMU walls are already in. I was hoping, I'll show you some pictures right now, hoping to get you some better pictures, but there's so much scaffolding in there right now that it's just a little tight. Garrick is doing all of the rough-ins in the kitchen, and they're also working on the sewer and water taps at this point. We had an inspection on 1210. Minhares Mora came in and did their architectural field report. There were no deficiencies found. On 1214, the city inspectors came in and Paytex, and they looked at the rebar tie-ins, and everything passed for sequence 8, no deficiencies. Utility applications, Texas Gas installation is already in process. As I mentioned, the water is already in process. El Paso Electric, we're just waiting for a approval on the final design, but that's coming very quickly. Accent Landscape is already running irrigation sleeves around the building. And I wanted to mention the ESC marketing team is working on furniture spacing and layout. So we're continuing to move forward, and I just want to say that they did a great job on that marketing pamphlet. It's exciting to see. So what you're looking at here, on the, I'm trying to figure it out here. We've got 9 areas ready to pour. That's sequence 8. And where you see the rolls of post-tension, that's the ramp starting to go up. So that would be sequence number 9. This is another view. You can see the post-tension again, and they're already laying the formwork. And it's kind of looks like the same thing, which it is, but it's really moving along quickly. So if you were to go in front of building C, you can already see that 4th floor up. This is a side view of sequence 9 and 10. So right there, we're looking at the delivery portion of the kitchen cafeteria right there. Here's another angle where you can see the decking going on to sequence 10.
Oh, it's going to be huge.
This is what the
Kitchen.
CMU looked like last month when we talked. You can see it's all the way up to the walls. All the conduit has been installed. The rough end is looking really good. Things are just moving quickly. This is some of the electrical conduit that's run. You can see on both of these pictures, the light posts are already going in around the building. And we expect probably the end of January, you'll start to see some paving going around the building. And I think I had these same renderings that I just wanted to show you.
That's super.
That's exciting.
Beautiful.
But Miss Angie got to beat you to the punch.
Hey, it's worth watching. It's worth seeing more than once.
It is, right?
It's
Especially as we're breaking for the holidays, you get to think about this.
Wow.
The main conference, again, these are preliminary renderings. We're missing all of the cool AV equipment we're going to have in there. But it's just to give you an idea of what we're going to be looking at. That's a cafe area. And the final picture here. So I'll take any questions you might have on the conference center construction.
Board.
Gorgeous.
Looking great. Looking great.
Thank you, John.
It's just
Thank you,
amazing.
John.
You can see it now from Montana.
From Montana.
You can see it above our other building, which is that building
Hey,
A. You can see that next floor from Montana.
Yes,
So
it's
it's
nice.
starting to be very visible. Thank you very much.
Thank
Any
you,
other
John.
questions from the board before he steps away? There being none, we thank you. Appreciate you very much. So we're gonna skip to, we had a phone call yet?
Mr. Gibson's on.
Is he on? Okay. So we move to item 10, which is consideration and possible approval of 2019-2020 financial audit report. And you find that page 79 is the memorandum. And the board received it electronically, the packet. We do have some hard copy for those of you who may want to keep it for later reference and not have to print out the entire booklet. We do have the handout that is generally one that the auditor utilizes to describe to us the reporting mechanism. I always use these. I try to keep years back so I can see 10 years worth of data, and I can do a comparison. So these worksheets are just phenomenal. So I thank you for.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Does someone have the PDF to share so everybody can see the graphs? There we go. Excellent. Can we go ahead and flip to the second page, please? Okay, this is a comparison of the governmental revenue. These are the graphs that we were holding up just a second ago. So 2020, you can see a significant increase, and the bulk of it is there in the blue section, which is the federal revenue, and that's basically all Head Start. Part of it is COVID related, and some of it is just extra funding, which I'm sure you've been made aware of this before now, but when you see it here in the graph, it's pretty impressive. The yellow is the local revenue, and you can see a little dip from last year. And again, this is related to the pandemic. We just weren't able to have as many face-to-face conferences as in previous years. And then the red section up at the top is our state revenue, and you see a little bit of an increase there, and that really relates to on behalf payments. This is where the state pays the retirement for the Region 19, so the employer's share. Many years ago, we didn't recognize this, but now we recognize it as revenue and then also as expense. So again, the only eye-opener here was the additional federal revenue. Next page, please. This one gets a little bit busy, but I think we can walk through it pretty easily. This is a comparison of the governmental expenditures. And again, as you can see there on the bottom, the blue section has a significant increase. Now, what this graph is representing is basically the information off of page 32 and 33 out of the audit findings. I'm sorry? Is there a question? No? Oh, so what we do, the blue here on the bottom represents functions 11, 12, and 13 off of the page 32 and 33. So we're grouping them by main categories. And the significant increase is primarily related to the purchase of laptops and smart tables. It was about 5.5 million related to that, and then a little over $1 million related to salaries and benefits. Now, overall, in all of the sections here, the total increase in payroll and benefits was about $2.5 million. Some of that is raises, and some of it is new positions that were filled. So you'll see that impact kind of spread out amongst all of these categories. The green section there, next up, shows a little bit of an increase related directly to the salaries and benefits. Again, with that red section, the support services, these are 30s, so 30 to 31 to 36 in the functions. And a little bit of an increase, and again, that's related to payroll and benefits. Now, the yellow section is the non-student services. So it's the 51, 52, and 53, so facilities and data and security. And we see a little bit of an increase there. So in addition to about $500,000 of salary and benefits, we also had about $300,000 related to architectural expenditures for other remodeling, not the construction that you just went over. This is other issues. And then the administration is this light blue here, just a tiny little increase, salary and benefit related. And then the ancillary is the 60s, and we just see a little bit of a decrease there. We had a bump in the prior year related to, I believe it was some acquisitions that weren't repeated. So next page, please. Okay, now this is our fund balance in the general fund. If we were a corporation, we'd call it our retained earnings. It's basically the equity in the general fund. Now, for years, we've been building this up, and you can see how that red section, which is what we refer to as other, it's not the unassigned. It includes the committed and assigned fund balance. And over the years, the board has been committing a lot of these funds to facility construction and equipment acquisition. So this year, you transferred out $10 million to the construction fund related to the construction of the parking garage and conference center, and as well as you transferred monies out of other funds too. Okay, so that's why you see that dip in the red or other fund balance here. And on the next page, this is our enterprise funds. Now the bars, the blue bar represents the revenue, and the red represents the expenses in these funds. And that green line is, we refer to it as net position for these types of funds, but again, it's the equity, retained earnings if it was corporation. And you see a significant drop. Again, this relates to the transfer to the construction program that the board approved. So really and truly, I'm much more comfortable with the level of equity that we have there now. It was getting a little excessive, but you were saving it for a purpose, and that purpose is here. And so it is very fortunate and well planned that we had these funds available for this purpose. You will see a decrease in revenue and expense. Again, this is related to the pandemic. So that's all we have in the graphs. The audit packet itself, want to be very clear that we issued an unqualified opinion or unmodified opinion, which is usually referred to as a clean opinion. No issues. We had no findings. And I know Sonia's very pleased with that. But we also issued our management letter, which was a separate document, where we would show improvements for, or recommendations for improvement. And honestly, the only issues we came across were so insignificant that they weren't worth putting in the letter. So that also is as clean a report as we ever issue. So with that, are there any questions?
Board members, any questions regarding the 2019-2020 financial audit report? There being none, we certainly thank you for once again giving us an audit. We miss seeing you. We know that you're eager to receive the signed report, and we will do so immediately after the board votes. And we do need a vote, and it's a recommendation of the administration that the board of directors approve the audit report, a financial audit report as presented. Do I hear a motion? Is anybody there?
Move to approve.
Motion by
Joe Limon, second.
Motion by Blanca Topete, second by Joe Limon. Any further discussion? I'm gonna go through it and poll the board for votes. Fred Sanchez,
Yes.
Jose Limon,
Yes.
Patricia Ramirez,
Yes.
Blanca Topete,
Aye.
and I vote aye as well. The motion is unanimous, so we thank you once again for the report. And certainly Sonia and her staff for the fine work that they do in ensuring that we get this fine report.
And I'd like to take just a moment to recognize the fact that this obviously was a very difficult year, and just the day-to-day operation, but then to tack on top of that the audit, because we do our work, but it requires a great deal of work from your staff, and they do that on top of their daily activity. Excuse me. But your folks are just top notch. They provide us with everything that we request, and like I said earlier, the comments that we have are so insignificant that as soon as we bring up any issue, Sonia and Rebecca, they are just all over it. They get it taken care of immediately. And we really do appreciate the dedication that they have. Haley is the one who ran this audit and worked directly with your staff. And I think they do work very well together, but we do appreciate the effort from all the individuals involved. And I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you and all the staff.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Mr. Soblaski?
Yes.
I would also like to, well, first of all, Merry Christmas to you all, and hope you enjoy your break. I'm sure you've earned it as well. But I wanted to point out Ms. Rebecca Flores, who's online and listening in, and I want to let her know that we appreciate all her hard work. I know that Sonia appreciates all your hard work, and I know that behind you two ladies, there's another group of people that were just as diligent in getting this done. But we appreciate all your hard work, and thank you for what you've done and continued success and keeping us clear of any major mishaps. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And we'll be moving on then to our next item. And our next item is our announcements and information. Back to number 5, item 5 on page 48. Let's read it.
We do have some announcements. First of all, the ESC 19 board election process, that'll be coming up. And I believe there's a few individuals that'll be coming up for
Phase 1, El Paso County. Place 4.
Okay, so we have the four coming up, or I'm sorry, the three that are coming up are place 1, which is El Paso County, place 4, which is El Paso / Hudspeth counties, and then place 7, which is El Paso ISD. And so those three individuals will have to submit and commit to running again. And then if in fact there are anyone else within our community that's interested in doing it, then of course, then we'll go from there. But hopefully it all works out and we continue being one as we've been for the past few years.
We do have this resolution.
Yes. Would you want me to read it, or if you don't mind reading it, just because you have the glasses.
We do have a resolution that we need to approve. And it reads, whereas state and local board policies call for elections for board of director positions to take place at the beginning of each calendar year, whereas staggered terms have been adopted by this region to assure board continuity, and in light thereof, in this calendar year of 2021, the following places are up for election. Place 1, El Paso County. Place 4, El Paso / Hudspeth counties. Place 7, El Paso Independent School District. Whereas it is necessary to authorize the direct implementation of the policy governing these elections, be it therefore resolved that the executive director is requested to begin the process for these elections to include 1, publication of notice by posting at ESC Region 19, by mailing to the superintendent of each district in the region in a newspaper of countywide circulation, that any eligible person may file for these positions at 6611 Boeing, El Paso, Texas, or having obtained an application by certified mail and may do commencing February 1, 2021, and thereafter until 5 p.m. February 20, 2021. 2, scheduling the chair or his/her designee to draw the names of the candidates for position following closing of the date for filing. And 3, preparing or having prepared ballots with the names of the candidates as drawn and sending these by no later than March 1st to the Board of Trustees of each school district in the ESC region eligible to vote, with instructions that they return all ballots by no later than April 5th to the chair of the ESC Board of Directors. Item 4, scheduling the canvass of the ballots at the board's regular meeting in May or at a specially called meeting, if appropriate, due notice having been given, but no later than May 31, 2021. 5, if incumbents stand for election and there is no opposition for either one of them, no election will be required. Considered, approved, and adopted on December 17, 2020. And do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Fred Sanchez. Do I hear a second?
Only 1 second.
Leave Blanca Topete second first, so we will accept Blanca Topete as the second. Any further discussion? There being none, we're going to pull the board once again. Fred Sanchez.
Hey.
Jose Limon.
Hey.
Alicia Ramirez.
Aye.
Blanca Topete.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Well, so the motion carries unanimously. Dr. Aguirre.
Yes, so we have another item, there's actually 2 more. The next one is the 23rd Annual Virtual Professional Conference, and that'll be held February 25th. And I wanna give Elena credit for continuing with this conference. I know that it's different than what you were used to, and it's always nice to bring our support staff together and have those conversations face to face. But after much consideration, we've agreed that it'd be great to continue, albeit virtually. And so she's working diligently, and I'm sure the staff will help her move forward. And I'm sure those that have helped her in the past will continue doing that too. So I'm sure it's going to be a success, Elena, whether it's like I told you before, if you know you're used to 500 plus, but even if only one shows up, we're there to help them. So I'm sure you're going to have good numbers.
Yes.
So good luck with that. And definitely, board members, if you're interested in joining us, that'll be February 25th. And so we'll give you more information soon. The next one is the National School Board Association Conference. It has been turned into a virtual conference. And so the registration is open now. And so we have had a few board members agree to do it and are interested, and we'll definitely make sure we get you registered. But if you haven't and you are interested, please let us know so that Teresa can get that done for you all. So by all means, but the date has changed. The conference will now be between April 8th through the 10th. So that is your wish. Please let us know so we can register all those who are interested. Yes.
I was just going to say that it's imperative that we attend as many of these conferences as we can. I've been received of an email from Ann Fine with the AESA conference, and I believe it was just Ms. Ramirez and myself who attended. Are you on, Ms. Ramirez? Pat, are you on?
Yes, I am. And I enjoyed it very much.
And I wanted to read a part of that email, Ms. Ramirez, because you're named in it. And it says, and last but not least, congratulations to the top 10 conference app users. Well done. And there's a top 10, and number 9 is our very own Patricia Ramirez, Region 19 Education Service Center.
Thank you.
Well done, and thank you for lighting up the apps for us. And I know I attended the conference. As well done. It had some discussions about some of the speakers, and so it was a very, very informative and very well done conference. And they are worthwhile for us attending. And again, I just wanted to make sure that we recognize Patricia Ramirez as ASA has recognized her as well.
Well, that's great news. Anytime our region's name is put there positively, it's a great thing. So thank you, Ms. Ramirez, for doing that. And
thank you. My pleasure.
And so hopefully those of you who have an opportunity to join us at the next conference will do so as well. So Mr. Zabowski, that's it for the announcements.
Okay, so we move then to item 6, which is our quarterly investment report. Beginning on page 49 is our memorandum.
Good afternoon, members of the board.
Afternoon.
We are reporting on our first quarter of the year, which ended November 30th. We started with a beginning balance of 24.3 million. Was there where you put that?
Yes.
Go to the third slide. Summary of the whole report. And so we began the fiscal year with $24.3 million. We had some deposits, 2.1 million, withdrawals 1.1 million, with a net increase of $1 million. Our ending book value is $25.3 million, and the market value of our investment is 25.3. And so accrued interest for this period was $26,789. We are earning about between 0.08% to 3.08% on CDs. If you note on the actual detail of our investments, we have them in investment pools, so that it gives us the access to liquidate when we need funds for operations. Now that we've pretty much invested all of our CDs into our construction project. But if you note, I did add a line in the detail, which is our NVH insured cash savings. And you'll see our portion of our reserves fund balance in here at 16 million. About 16.6 million still sitting there, and it is earning interest, okay? It is earning 0.32% interest, which is some money than no money. So I just wanted to note that we are getting interest on our money, and we did earn about close to $13,000 this first quarter.
Bless you.
Thank you.
And this concludes our quarterly investment.
Any questions on the quarterly investment report? There being none, we thank you once again for that report. We move to item 7, which is Head Start Policy Council meetings. You can find that on page 56. Ms. Rodriguez.
Board President, Mr. Sablasky, and Dr. Given, members of the board. The Policy Council meetings will be January 26th of 2021 and February 23rd of 2021, again, both on a Tuesday, and they start at 4 p.m.
Thank you. We move to, that's for information. Anybody have any questions? If not, but let's move to item 8, which is the Head Start Director's Report, page 57.
Yes. So the Director's Report for this month of December will reflect that we are in our 6th month of operations for our 2nd year of a five-year grant. In regards to funding, I'm happy to report to you that, and I will be sharing that, and it's in the report, that we received all 10 notices of award. However, we're still pending the additional funding for Sparks and Isleta. So once we have all that funding together, then you will see a change on the funding section. Okay? Under service areas and populations, again, we are funded to serve 4375. Of those, we serve 3983 preschool children, ages 3 to 4, and 392 infants and toddlers 0 to 36 months, and pregnant women. Again, we have the 31 centers operating. We are providing virtual instruction, distributing curbside meals, along with home deliveries to our families that don't have transportation.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir. On page 2 of this report, under program data, activities, and milestones, Ms. Eubank later on in the meeting will present to you the financial report, and she will also highlight any credit card expenditures for Head Start or Early Head Start. Under monthly program informational summaries, you will find those under Appendix A, and they are going to reflect all program activities that happened during the month of November. Under program enrollment and attendance, you're also going to find that data, but you're going to find it under Appendix B, and it's going to reflect the enrollment and attendance and meal data for both Head Start and Early Head Start. So under Early Head Start, for the month of November, we provided services to 388 infants and toddlers. So we did have 4 slots that were available. The virtual attendance for the children in Early Head Start was at 98%. It's been pretty high.
Good.
Very good attendance on behalf of our families virtually. In regards to Head Start, we provided services to 2771 in the month of November, indicating that we have 1221 slots currently still available, and the attendance for Head Start children was at 97%. For the monthly meals that we provided in the month of November, for Early Head Start, we distributed 1,090 meals, and for Head Start, we distributed 3,088, which include both breakfast and lunch. I am happy to report, and that number could be slightly low because, we were off for a week for the Thanksgiving holiday week. But I'm also happy to report to you that we received the approval of the waiver in which we have started to provide double meals to our families, starting, I believe it was November 16th, where Mondays they provide them meals for Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday for Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday just for Friday. So, that's allowing us to provide more meals to our families. Yes, sir. Under challenges, changes and informational items that I wanted to share with you for the month of November. Again, I shared this with you earlier. We successfully did get all the duration projects, the notices of award. They've all come in. We're just waiting on the Sparks and Isleta that required a budget revision. But just today, the specialist wrote to me and she's just needing additional information on what's a little bit more detail on what site improvements, what they are, and professional services. So I'll be working with Mr. Alarcon to quickly send that information back to her so that they can approve those immediately. Also, I wanted to share with you that we had a very successful representation of Head Start parents. I couldn't wait, and I shared this with Dr. Aguirre. The annual Head Start Association Parent Engagement Conference is a big thing, but typically we only get to take about 6 parents with the funds that we have. But now this time, because it was virtual, we were able to open it up to 38 of our parents.
That's awesome.
Yes, and kudos to David Herrera because even though we were not traveling, he still stuck to one of the things that we do, one of our norms, which is we did a debriefing every day. So we did a virtual debriefing at 3:15 every day with our parents to see what they learned. And, so it was really nice and refreshing to see our parents so excited about all the learning that they were getting through the conference. So, and as a matter of fact, our policy council treasurer was highlighted nationally because there was a contest, and herself and another one of our policy council representatives, Ms. Faldua, also was called out to that activity. So El Paso was shining nice and bright, even with our parents. So I was happy to report that to you all. And then finally, the Rotarians, they reached out to us and they just wouldn't take no for an answer. I told Dr. Aguirre, they wanted to make it happen, either, however it was. So we did it. They had a little committee that was overseen by Stan Okies and Yasser, who is the president. And so we quickly together got creative and said, okay, since we do grab and go meals, then that's how we will do Rotary at all the 31 centers. Instead of bringing the children to the County Coliseum, we will take Rotary to every center, and we did. So I have a little quick video to show you the beautiful things that happened at all of our centers. We had close to 2,200 families that came out.
Wow.
The rest, we did a home delivery. So we're real excited about that. So Jose, if you would be so kind. Yes, of course.
So while she does that, explain to them how this video, what the video was used for, like with the students.
Yes, so thank you again, Dr. Aguirre. I mean, I don't know, he gets the idea. So he said, wouldn't it be wonderful if the families would receive a personalized invitation from Santa? And I said, boss, that's a great idea. So quickly the Mark De Santos and the team got together. They created a Santa invitation inviting the family. So the teachers, while they were doing instruction through Class Dojo, put it into the instruction so that the families were, excited, and we played it on Facebook. We sent it to them via Messenger. I mean, we just, thank you, Dr. Aguirre. Thank you for always thinking.
Well, I didn't bring it up for you to say that.
No, it was a great idea. Yeah. We had such a wonderful turnout.
But when I saw it, I thought that was perfect. And I'm sure.
But it was your doing, Dr. Aguirre. So please accept it, because it was your doing. It was your idea, and we just put it into action. And I'm so happy that you came up with it, because that just brought out the families. It really did. And so, so they, we showed it, like I said, constantly. We talked to the parents through Messenger, and the result of it was we had 2,200 families that came out. At all of our 31 centers during curbside, the center managers did a different station, a separate station for the gifts. They got piñatas. All children got piñatas, coloring book that was drawn by a Rotarian. The Buenas Noches El Paso book that was a local author and an illustrator, and a bunch of goodies, like a lot of goodies from the Rotarians and all their partners. So So here it is. Here's the result of your great idea, boss. Come on, boss, take credit.
Hola! And hello, boys and girls. It's me, your good friend, Santa Claus. I just love this holiday season, don't you? It makes me feel so jolly and happy inside. Ho, ho, ho. I especially love all the cookies you leave for me on Christmas Eve. They're so yummy. Ho, ho, ho. Speaking of goodies, guess what? I have a special treat for you. You have all been such good boys and girls this year that Ms. Claus and I have prepared a special bag of holiday goodies for you. There is even a fun book inside for you to read together with your parents. And as you munch on your yummy treats, and we couldn't have done it without the help of our good friends at the El Paso Rotary Club. They wanted to make sure that you all receive a holiday surprise because you all are so very special. So parents, don't forget to go to your Child Head Start Center this Friday, December 11th, from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and pick up their special holiday goodie bag from Santa. Remember, during pickup to stay inside the vehicle. And please make sure all passengers are wearing a mask. Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad, and have a very safe and happy holiday. Ho, ho, ho.
Now next to the centers.
We're here with our great friends, the Rotarians, because they have been so gracious as to donate piñatas, candies, books for all our 4,500 children. And so this could not have happened for our children and our families without all the support that we get from our amazing friends, the Rotary Clubs of El Paso. Throughout El Paso and Hudspeth County, we are really expecting over 3,000 families to be able to participate in this event.
Yeah, our Santa Claus is the president of the Rotary Club of El Paso, Yasser Murga. This is such a great tradition that we love and look forward to every year. Just seeing the smiles, the laughter, just the grins on the kids' faces, it makes it all worthwhile. And knowing that, you know, somehow we're igniting a little bit of interest in reading and making sure that it's fun with all the treats and gifts. We're so delighted to partner with Region 19 Head Start in this and look forward to this every year. Merry Christmas!
Everyone's gonna be good. If you're asking.
And that was the order.
that's what it's all about.
And we invite you this December 22nd to listen in. We're going to be reading the story. We couldn't gather to be at the Coliseum, but you're going to find some interesting voices by the Head Start directors. Myself and my team are going to be narrating the story and the journey around the world. So we invite you to tune in on December the 22nd. And all of our families will also be invited to tune in. And they all got a book.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was a wonderful report. It's always about the kids, as Mr. Sanchez in his invocation mentions, the Head Start kids. I mean, that's the group that we serve directly. We serve all children in Region 19. Certainly those are direct serve, and it's a wonderful thing to know that the Rotary Clubs of El Paso urged us to continue, and that we, of course, happily joined in, and the kids were, that was a great video. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Dr. Aguirre, for that.
Outstanding.
No, thank you guys and make sure you let the Rotary Club know that we appreciate all their hard work and their partnership.
Absolutely.
I sure did, boss. This morning, they invited me to be a pop-up guest at the Rotary meeting. So I was able to play the video and thank them on behalf of ESC 19 and of course our children and families for what they've done.
Thank you.
Members of the board, anyone have any other questions or comments regarding the Head Start report? Well, there being none, thank you once again. We appreciate you very much. So we move on to item 9, which is our finance report, beginning on page 5. Memorandum, Bank.
Yes, sir. Before I start the finance report for November, I just wanted to mention to the board that a highlight that wasn't mentioned during the audit was the net income that the general fund generated as we closed out the year. Confirmed, we did bring in a net income of close to 2.4 million. So we withdrew the 10 million towards the capital project, but we did gain 2 million into our general fund. So I know that wasn't addressed, but I just wanted to mention that before I start the report.
Well worth mentioning. Thank you very much.
And so for our general fund, when you compare our current budget to actual and year-to-date budget, I'll start with total revenues as you move across. We have brought in revenue of 3.5 million compared to budget. We should be at approximately 2.5 million, which gives us a positive variance of over $1 million as of November 30th, with local revenue being above our budget by compared to budget by almost $1 million, which is what we've earned through our TEECs and our prepaid contracts to our districts. So they are counting on us to deliver these services. When we look at total expenditures, we have 1.9 million in expenditures. Compared to budget, we should be close to 2.4. So again, we do have a positive variance, meaning that we have expended much less than what we have projected. If I want to mention payroll, in the previous reports, we always mention we're absorbing payroll costs because we're waiting for grants to come in, or we've received several of our grants, and if you compare that to our variance, actual to variance, it's close to $7,000 when before it was much more than that. So we have reallocated salaries to their respective grant programs, which means that it leaves more revenue, less expenditures for our general fund. And so if you look at the light blue highlighted, I don't know if you can see it on the screen. We do have a net income of 1.6 million. And then construction for the Natureseum, since the board did allocate some funds from fund balance for this, we have incurred about $170,000 for this fiscal year. And then, so it leaves us a net change in fund balance of 1.4 million. increasing our fund balance, ending fund balance to 10.3 million for our general fund. Next report, Jose. Our next report shows our same information broken out by function. Of course, always function 13, which is our professional development, and our general administration are usually the highest costs that we incur. Next report. Our next report is our conference center and parking garage. Total resources allocated 36.9 million. Total expenditures 10.3. We have fund balance restricted of 26.3 million. This is the next report shows us our Head Start 2019, which is our expansion grant. We have received several approvals to proceed with modernization and improvements, and so we have collected 38.2 million. Expenditures 38.2. They owe us about close to $14,000 for this particular grant, and we have obligated 3 million more, and we are pending to obligate another 8 million. And so we are making some progress in obligating our funds so that we can expend them before the end of the year. Our next report is our Head Start fiscal year 2021, which is our current grant, and we have collected close to 16 million in revenue. We have expended 18.3. We have obligated close to 18 million, and we have about 11 million to obligate. Leaves us with 2.4 million due to us for current expenditures year to date. Our next report is our governmental funds report, and this report is a summary of all the other 3 programs. Sorry, debt service, I did cover construction. What this column shows is the current expenditures from September through November. So we've incurred an additional 2.2 that was added to the summary report that I previously discussed. For other funds, this is all of our other grants. Total revenues collected is 1.29 million, and we have expended 2.7 million. We are due approximately 1.4 million for all of our other grants. Next report. This report is our proprietary, which is a combination of our enterprise funds. Enterprise funds is our co-op, our print shop, the cyber cafe. This is the grand total for this program. And so total revenues collected is $703,000. Expenditures are at approximately $259,000. And so we have a net income for our enterprise funds of $444,000. When you add that to our existing fund balance, leaves us with an ending fund balance of 2.7 million in our enterprise fund. For our internal service funds, operating revenues $462,000, expenditures at $561,000, with showing a net loss of about $99,000 being covered by fund balance, leaving an ending fund balance of 2.6. Of course, we prepaid all of our insurances up front, workers' comp, it's over 300,000, and so we collect that revenue gradually throughout the year. Our internal service funds is usually the rates that are established for these funds is usually to break even or be above that. If you see that at the end of the year, we end up with a net loss, and you start increasing those rates, and then you distribute that cost throughout the program. And following is detailed reports of the enterprise and internal service fund, including credit card activity reports that we're required to bring to the board. And this concludes the finance report. Are there any questions?
Any questions or comments regarding the financial report of the board? Thank you so very much for keeping us tight. Appreciate you. and for mentioning what was left out of the audit. We appreciate you.
Mr. Zablaski, if I could add,
Of course.
thank you, Sonia, for your hard work again with your team and everything that was done. But it's amazing how the service center as a whole, with all our employees, have really stepped up and continued the process. And it's been great, because that's what's kept our revenue being what the revenue stream being what it is. To include our ECI program, they've been great. All the other federal grant programs, of course, Head Start, they're just amazing in what they do. So we're fortunate. And so I just wanted to say that if we continue on that trend, then we'll continue living through this pandemic and hopefully continue coming out on the top side of that. Yes, exactly.
Yes, of course, it takes a team, but certainly the financial picture's got to be reviewed and maintained so that we don't go off on tangents and we don't overspend, et cetera. Keep our finances above and beyond our expenditures, as you always do. And so we thank you for that, and thank the team for. I'm shocked. I'm amazed. When I talk to people about how awesome it is that we're doing well, I give God the glory, because I just believe that we placed all these people in the right place to do exactly what needs to be done. Starting with yourself, sir. But
thank you.
We're just in a place where it's so easy to serve on this board. Before, we were talking about other boards we've served on that have been chaotic and certainly not pleasant to be on. And this one is just such a wonderful board to serve on, because everyone is certainly dedicated. There's true synergy. Everyone is flowing in the same direction, and everybody is buying into what needs to happen for the Education Service Center Region 19 to succeed. First and foremost, it's about kids. It's about the children, and that's where we got to focus on. But we got to have the dollars to do the work. And so we thank you, Sonia, and the team that works with you to keep us in line in terms of our financial position. It's a wonderful year to end. When we think of the chaos outside of this place, we see other service centers laying off people. And we've been able to maintain, in fact, support stipends and so forth. And again, thanks to your management of our finances, and certainly the executive director's recommendation to us, that it's what a wonderful thing to live with chaos outside and be blessed on the inside. And we're blessed because you are sitting in the chairs that you sit in right now. And everyone that's not here, that's in the offices, that's in the field, that's with the children's virtually programs, teaching the kids in Head Start and our ECI program, and everyone else who's involved throughout. I mean, there's some programs that aren't seen. I mentioned earlier about our maintenance program and how, you look at these buildings, no one would believe how old these buildings are. And it's the people who day in and day out, they keep it clean, they keep it painted, they keep everything repaired, nothing squeaks. You don't open the door and they squeal. Everything is just so wonderful. It's amazing the people that are employed at ESC 19. We're just. I mean, for me, and I would assume the rest of the board, is relatively simple to say. I serve on this board, and we don't have any problem. People are shocked to see that. We see AESA and Pat and I attended, and some of the commentary, people are lost some places. We're just blessed that we have the people that we have, that we have direction, that the directors are leading, and people are following because it's a positive lead. We don't stomp on people. We aren't negative about people. We encourage and we help and we guide and we train and we retrain if necessary. It's just a beautiful opportunity for people who are here and as employees. And I hear of people who have left, who later I see on Facebook saying, "I am so sad that I left." And it's we need to think about our consequences, right? Sometimes we leave and we don't know what we're leaving. And so I'm sure some of them are going to try to find a way back. And so if it's in the, if it's someone that we should bring back, we should, of course. And I know you all do all the time. Anyway, I thank you. All that through the financial report. So, because without it, we cannot.
That's
do
right.
any
We
of what
wouldn't
happens.
exist.
That's right.
Comes down to money.
So thank you very much. And so we move in to item 11, which is consideration and possible approval of an extension for an additional year for RFQ number 20-7364 professional services, which you find on page 80 is our memorandum. Administration is requesting possible approval of an additional year extension of this RFQ.
Move to approve?
That was Ms. Topete. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sanchez. Do we have any discussion? Again, I remind everyone that we've had a week with this information, and everyone was called in to get any clarification. So I'm going to poll the board. There being no further discussion. Mr. Sanchez?
Aye.
Mr. Limon?
Aye.
Mr. Ramirez?
Aye.
Mr. Pete?
Aye.
I vote aye as well, so it passed. There are no abstentions. We go to item 12, which is consideration of possible approval for ESC Region 19. The lead inventory costing 5,000 or greater as scrap. Memorandum on page 83. There's 10 inventory deletions. Do I hear any discussion? Do I hear a motion?
So move.
I have a motion by Fred Sanchez to approve. Do I hear a second?
Joe Limon, second.
Joe Limon is with a second. Any discussion? There being none, I'm going to poll the board. Mr. Sanchez?
Aye.
Mr. Limon?
Aye.
Mr. Ramirez?
Aye.
Mr. Pete?
Aye.
I vote aye as well. So the voting again is unanimous. We go on to item 13, which is consideration and possible adoption of resolution to initiate the ESC Region 19 board member election process. We've already done. So we have that motion already early. You have it recorded, correct?
Yes.
All right. So we move then to item 14, J14, which is consideration and possible approval of governing action items for the Head Start program. We have 4 action items. One is the program self-assessment plan and training. We'll have another action item for criteria priorities for recruitment, enrollment, selection, and replacement. And we have a third one, which is community needs assessment, yearly report. And then we'll have the annual independent audit. And we'll do each one of them at the completion of each presentation, beginning on page 97. Ms. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Zablosky, Dr. and the members of the board. So as part of your responsibilities, shared governance, I should present to you for your approval the program self-assessment plan and training. And so, as you know, this evaluation needs to happen on an annual basis, and it involves different stakeholders, of which you are our primary participants, along with our policy council representatives. We also involve center staff and also community representatives to come and evaluate our program, to take a close look at our management and service delivery systems, to ensure that we continue to grow as a program and that we continue to elevate services for children and families. And so part of the plan is phase 1, where we take time to plan for the self-assessment. We review the document, the tool that the evaluators are going to utilize. And so that happens during the month of December. We also take a look at possible dates, especially for the centers, because this has to happen at each of the 31 centers and administratively as well. As part of phase 2 is for us to present this plan to you for your approval. And this typically will happen either in the month of December or January. So I decided to bring it to you early for your approval so we can proceed with everything else. Phase 2 is really the implementation piece of the self-assessment. And so that is going to entail, like I said, the centers laying out their date of when they're going to be implementing the self-assessment at the 31 centers, and also getting a hold of different community members. Now, the difference to this process, the only different thing is that it's going to be held virtually. And we did it last year, so it was a success with the help of yourselves participating and everyone else. So we anticipate that, the assessment will be done as effectively as it was last year. And then for the centers, it will take place in the month of February, and for us administratively in the month of March. So I will be in touch with Dr. Aguirre to get some dates, and then he will touch back with you to make sure that the dates that we recommend, you are available to participate virtually. And then, of course, phase 4 involves us analyzing the results of all the 31 centers and the administrative results. Again, and then present them to you all, and present them, of course, to our policy council board, as well as to the different center boards as well, to the center committees. And then finally, one of the most important ones is utilizing the results, because we are mandated to take them and embed them and utilize them in our grant application that is due April 1st. Okay, so that's very critical of us to utilize and of course highlight whatever strengths we found during this process, but also those areas that need improvement or that we need to take them to the next level. We also must highlight those as well in our program goals and again, our grant application. Any questions?
Board, any questions? Then we are ready to approve, discuss whether we approve our program self-assessment plan and training.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Mr. Sanchez. Do I hear a second?
Joe Limon, second.
Any further discussion? There being none, I'm going to poll the board once again. Fred Sanchez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Joe Limon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Alicia Ramirez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Blanca Topete, how do you vote?
Aye.
I vote aye as well, so it's a unanimous vote with no abstentions. Item number 2, criteria, priorities for recruitment, enrollment, selection, and placement.
Move to approve.
Joe Limon, second.
A motion and a second to approve. Would you like to do the little short presentation?
Well, I just want to share with you that this is a criteria that we utilize. We have 5 categories. In order for our families to participate in our program, they must be eligible by 3 areas: income eligible, age, and of course, residency. Now, the only thing I want to point out under age is that we don't go by the September 1st. So, that's why we can enroll children throughout the entire school year, because we don't have to stick to that September 1st. And then the last section on this document is really how we prioritize on how we place our children in our program. As you can see, our number 1 priority is any children with disabilities that have a diagnosed disabilities takes priority in placement in our program. And then you can see that we also have other categorically eligible children, such as homeless and foster children under foster care also take precedence before any other families. And of course, any families under public assistance, such as TANF and SSI, Supplemental Security Income.
And so we do have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion for item 2, criteria, priorities for recruitment, enrollment, selection, and placement? There being none, I will poll the board for vote. Mr. Sanchez?
Aye.
Mr. Limon? Mr. Limon.
Aye.
Ms. Ramirez.
Aye.
Mr. Pete.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well, so item 2 is also approved unanimously, no abstentions. Item 3, Community Needs Assessment CNA Yearly Report.
So also in preparation for our grant application that is, again, coming up in April, we must make sure that we use our community needs assessment results to also make the decisions that we need to make in our program, in our service area. And so quickly, what I do want to highlight from this report is under findings or any type of significant or major changes, there really wasn't any. I want to report to you that our program service area, which is El Paso and Hudspeth County, continues to show a large number of people living in poverty, specifically those that we need to serve, children under the age of 5. The community percentage is at 29%. So again, poverty exists there. The next one under community strengths and needs, what continues to be a highlight for our community though, is that we have a vast amount of community resources within our community to assist our families, specifically those living in poverty. Okay, so that is one thing. The other thing that I wanted to highlight is bullet number 2, that the demand for preschool services in our community for children living in poverty is being met. Prior years, we had numbers, but data shows that through the following, which would be subsidized childcare, public pre-K programs, Head Start, and or the combination of any of these free services, are showing that preschool children are being served. And so, however, it does show, our data does show that we have close to 11,500 children that are eligible for early Head Start services. So that is something definitely that our program needs to look at and make some decisions about that, especially when funding is available for early Head Start services. And then finally, in summary of this report, again, what this does for us is bring to us a lot of opportunities for us to revamp and enhance our recruitment and enrollment efforts throughout El Paso and Hudspeth counties. Pretty soon, you're going to see some of our vehicles, vehicles like our distribution vehicles with, register now, publicizing our program, call this number. And so that's one way. And, just parents giving us ideas, policy council giving us ideas.
Moving billboard.
Yeah, that'll be the next one. But again, and the other piece is also making sure that we continue to sustain our community partnerships because they're so essential to us being able to meet the needs of our families. Okay? Any questions?
Any questions? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Fred Sanchez to approve. Do I hear a second?
Billy, 1 second.
1 second. Any discussion? There being none, I will pull the board for a vote. Mr. Sanchez?
Aye.
Mr. Limon?
Aye.
Ramirez?
Aye.
Pete? Mr. Pete?
I don't see her out there.
Oh, we lost Mr. Pete.
You still have
I vote aye. So of those being present and the motion carries, we need to try to get her back.
The criteria, I didn't hear the motion or the second.
That was Mr. Sanchez and Mr. Limon. They did it before the discussion.
Yeah, it was done.
Yeah, was it right before the discussion? But thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
So we move to the final annual independent audit, which is the fourth one.
So as part of your responsibilities as governing body, we need to make sure that, again, you accept and approve that there is an independent audit that is implemented, and you've heard the results. So again, I believe it was already approved in the agenda, right?
Yes.
So we're done.
Thank you.
You want to vote on it just in case?
You want to vote on it?
Just in
Okay,
case.
very good.
We have it on here for vote. Let's go ahead and vote it because it's
Absolutely.
specific to Head Start. But
Yes, sir.
as you mentioned, we've already approved the annual audit report. So, do I hear a motion?
I move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Sanchez. Do I hear a second?
Mr. Limon, second.
Both seconds. Any further discussion? There being none, I'm going to hold it. Somebody can Mrs. Topete back for us. Mr. Sanchez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Limon?
Aye.
Ms. Ramirez? Ms. Ramirez?
Aye.
And I don't see Ms. Topete out there, but I'll ask Ms. Topete. All right, the motion is, again, is unanimous by those, I vote aye, by those present and voting. No abstentions. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions regarding the Head Start governance action items? There being none, thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Rodriguez. Thank you so much.
We're going to adjourn to close a session for the purpose of considering matters for which closed sessions are authorized by Title 5, Chapter 55